Welcome to this edition of the Purity Post. My name is Jonathan Daugherty, and I'm the director of Be Broken Ministries, a national outreach whose mission is healing sexual brokenness by God's grace, one story at a time. Do you ever wonder if living in the United States, a country that is so blessed with creature comforts that we have become flabby when it comes to our spiritual fitness? We have so much, yet everywhere I turn, I see increased dissatisfaction and misery as people clamor for more and more and more. When will it ever be enough? Is there ever an end to the discontent and anxiety of those believing the lies of entitlement thinking? Chew on that one for a few seconds. I actually believe there is an end to such discontentment and anxiety, but to pursue it requires incredible strength and resolve, because it goes against all that our culture promotes and worships. The answer to ungratefulness and dissatisfaction is found in God's grace. So what is it that makes grace so amazing? Why is it so essential to true life and real contentment? What makes God's grace indispensable, not merely a side issue that we can take or leave on this journey of faith? Well, what makes God's grace so paramount, so essential in this thing called life, is that without it, there would be no life at all. It was by God's grace that He even considered creating us to enjoy Him. His grace is woven throughout all of creation, offering us breathtaking examples of His beauty and majesty. His grace consistently and persistently pursues mankind, even going so far as to lay down His own Son's life in order that we wouldn't perish but instead enjoy life forever with Him. Grace is fundamentally essential to life in all its layers. But is grace really enough? This is the question our culture is so accustomed to asking. What is enough? And we ask it about everything, don't we? Is average health really enough? Is a high school diploma really enough? Is one wife or one husband really enough? Is one car really enough? Is X amount of money really enough? And the list goes on. We as believers should be the first to notice the fallacy in such thinking, but often we ourselves are swept away in the rush of discontent, and we find ourselves believing the subtle lie of the enemy, which hasn't changed from the beginning. It says, what you've been given by the grace of God, it isn't enough. And we swallow the hook of that lie, and when we do, we, just like the unbeliever, become pawns of the devil, twisting and turning in whatever direction he desires. I'm not saying we shouldn't want to improve and even take risks in following Christ. In fact, to follow the Lord is a great risk Jesus Himself told us to weigh carefully. But we need to remember that we are promised discomfort in this life if we follow Jesus. We're promised trouble, hardship, suffering, and even hatred if we take this Christianity message seriously. And this makes sense if you understand that this world is not our home. But in the discomfort, in the trials, the illnesses, the losses, is grace really enough? If you lose your job, is grace really enough? If your spouse dies or divorces you, is grace really enough? If your health worsens, is grace really enough? If your family abandons you for your faith, is grace really enough? If you're ridiculed, reviled, rejected, or even killed for following Jesus, is grace really enough? If you're cheated in business, is grace really enough? If you repeatedly fall to the same temptations, is grace really enough? I believe that until we come to a place where we say with authenticity, God, your grace is enough, we'll never know true life and never experience real peace and contentment. Believer, God's grace is enough. If He were to provide nothing else for us in our entire existence save His grace, it would be enough, even more than enough. Do you believe this? Then cling to it in all of life's seasons. God's grace is powerful for transforming lives, for in it we find something of the essence of God, the truth that He really does love us with an everlasting love. His compassion is endless, His salvation is permanent, His mercy is great, and His faithfulness reaches beyond the heavens. When you come to the place of understanding and appreciating the limitless grace of God, you finally reach a place in your life that transcends circumstance, that is beyond the physical material world that only appeals to the rottenness of our sinful flesh. You enter a place of peace, untouched and unmarred by anything this life can throw at you in hopes that you fail. And even when you do stumble, God's grace is there to pick you up. I pray you will embrace God's grace today and every day. It really is enough. Thanks for watching this edition of the Purity Post. If you'd like more resources, please visit bebroken.com or call our toll-free number at 1-800-49-PURITY. Keep pressing on.